Hey everyone, Meteorologist Carly Smith here. We are going to get things started. I believe the mic is on now. So yeah, you saw the headlines. That's what we're really going to start focusing on, is going to be how it's still dusty. There's less dust this weekend, but more heat. And then additionally, we're watching the tropics pretty closely. So taking a look at what is an invest. Yes, the National Hurricane Center is now investigating that tropical wave in the Caribbean. What is an invest? That's an area of investigation. They put a number on it. It's either 90 through 99, so it does cycle through. Once we get to 99, we will start over at 90. The L designates the Atlantic Basin an area of investigation, and the Pacific has an E on the end. And we actually have a named system in the Pacific, but not going to play a role in our weather, so we're not going to focus on it. Instead, we're going to keep a close eye on the system in the Caribbean, because there are signs that this is going to come into the Gulf of Mexico. And earlier in the week, the signs were leaning more toward it staying in the Atlantic, but as we know with tropical systems, the path tends to shift, and we are seeing that now. So we'll break it all down, tracking the tropics. Here's the latest satellite imagery of Invest 97L. Wind speed's only 25 miles per hour. Pressure is right at 1013 millibars. It is moving west-northwest at 23 miles per hour. So what an Invest does is it allows the National Hurricane Center to start really focusing on where is the center of this storm, so they can start sending out the hurricane hunters, and additionally new modeling, or the model data starts to improve. The spaghetti model plots start to come out with multiple different models. So right now we have some spaghetti plots from the European ensemble data. So that's just a slight variation in some of the variables of the European model, and it puts out different outcomes. So you get this ensemble of data, which is multiple different model runs showing where the center of the storm might end up. And we have those posted on KTVI.com. Just click on the Hurricane Central page and you should find that forecast update right there. But for now, we're going to focus on what we've got here. So we have GFS, that's the American ensemble data as well, and of the European ensemble data. But now that we have this tropical wave, or this tropical wave that is being investigated, we have one additional model run that is showing up on the spaghetti model. But now that it is an area of investigation throughout the rest of the day, and by tomorrow morning, we're going to have a lot more of our spaghetti plots from different models that will give us a better indication of where the system is going. But I would like to note that this current path, this is paused overnight Saturday into Sunday, does have a better chance of the system making it into the Gulf of Mexico. All of the European ensemble data is now taking it into the Gulf of Mexico. The GFS is taking it into the Gulf of Mexico. Not a whole lot of signs of intensity yet. Right now it's looking to still trend on the weaker side, which is one of the reasons why it has a better chance of moving into the Gulf of Mexico. But these two areas of high pressure, they're going to play a big role as well. We're still getting that trough that is going to essentially break up those areas of high pressure, which is going to lead to that chance of it shifting into the Gulf of Mexico. So still a 60% chance of development there. The next name would be Debbie, but there's not a whole lot of confidence in the system getting stronger than a tropical depression, at least not at this point. But there are some signs that it may hang out kind of in that eastern Gulf of Mexico area. So that's something that we're going to have to be keeping a pretty close eye on as well. So again, why is it trending more toward the Gulf of Mexico today than yesterday? Well, it's a little bit further south than originally anticipated. And so it's going to interact with more of those larger Caribbean islands and more mountainous Caribbean islands as well. So the more mountains and the more land it travels over, the weaker the system is going to stay, and the better chance it's going to have to make it into the Gulf of Mexico. So there are more signs it's going to take that more south and left track versus the right or northern track, essentially, that keeps it in the Atlantic. And so this system, again, it's worth watching, but it is not worth worrying about. But We'll do updates, of course, on KIII at 5, 6, and 10 tonight. And then additionally, I'll be back on tomorrow morning on First Edition. We've got all of our weekend news as well. That will keep you up to date with any updates or changes. But right now, we're not worrying about the system in Texas. High temperatures is what we're worrying about, but this is nothing new. We're going to see our high reaching 98 degrees, it looks like, by the weekend. That's because we're going to see less Saharan dust. So today, I think we're still going to turn cooler. The high yesterday was only 91 degrees. Our heat index values are going to be able to stay below 110 with still a little bit of dust in our atmosphere, but those will work up closer to 110, which is that heat advisory criteria, because it starts to become a little bit more dangerous, especially for anyone doing some strenuous work outside once we hit 110 for our heat index. Regardless, make sure you're staying hydrated, y'all. It's August, and this is our hottest month here in the coastal bend. Taking a look outside, this is the view once again on our tower camera. You can tell there's still some dust there along the horizon now. The time is 10:03 a.m. It is 86 degrees. Feels like it's 98. Whew, it's already feeling hot. Our heat index, or air quality rather, is at moderate today. So we are lower than yesterday, but that's still a little unhealthy for some. And we're sunny. Well, lots of sunshine is in the forecast, so you see that here as well, looking on the Lex camera. Temperatures are going to make their way into the 90s. We will be 93 degrees this afternoon with a southeast wind. So here's the Saharan dust forecast. High pressure at the surface is helping bring that Saharan dust up into Texas. As we head into the weekend, Friday, and then into Saturday and Sunday, we're going to push more of that dust north as the high pressure slides a little bit more to the west. But a cold front brings the dust back south. However, we're not going to see impacts from the front. We're not going to see much in the way of rain. High pressure still dominating the Texas forecast. As we head into the weekend, North Texas could see a few showers, so I'll break that down in just a second. But the cold front is going to have a bigger impact on the southeast Texas. It's going to keep some dust in the atmosphere, but it's just going to be more so a hint of dust as we head into the weekend, right? So Saharan dust forecast. This just emphasizes what I just said. Saturday, we may not notice much dust at all, but then into Sunday and Monday, we'll see a hint of it. So here's our rainfall forecast. You'll see more cloud coverage. We may see another round of some fog, especially around the 281 corridor again tomorrow morning. Here's the cold front. Texas Panhandle, North Texas, and into portions of Central Texas may see a few showers that develop as this front kind of stalls with high pressure still just to the south. But as the high pressure moves back north, I don't anticipate much rain. We could see a sea breeze shower with a little bit more tropical moisture into next week, but it doesn't look great. So this is now Thursday, still not much rain for the coastal bend. We are looking fairly rain-free under this high pressure type of weather pattern. Winds will be lighter as well. High pressure equals lighter winds, especially down at the surface. However, they are still going to be predominantly out of the southeast, which again shows no sign of a cold front making it here. Typically, we see our first real cold front of the season as we head into October. So there's still some time to look forward to that. Looking now at our wave forecast. So the winds are lighter and our waves are going to drop a bit. Latest indication, oops, I skipped ahead, is still that we stay even with that system trying to make it into the Gulf of Mexico. Again, it's a fairly weak system, so I'm not confident in any type of swell making it to the Texas coastline, at least not at this point. We'll have to see how strong it gets as it makes its way into the eastern Gulf, but right now I'm not confident on much of an uptick in our waves. If it was a stronger system, then there would be more confidence there. But some of the modeling does show some wave heights by Wednesday and Thursday getting a little higher, but as you see, as our wind weakens into the weekend, we are looking at fairly flat conditions out in the Gulf of Mexico. There's the system, so it's starting to, the swell forecast is picking up on an eastern Gulf of Mexico system as we head into Sunday, but this is where the modeling gets a little tricky. Some models then have it crossing over Florida, some models have it hanging out and trying to strengthen into the Gulf of Mexico. This particular model is not good for our wave heights at this point, so again, it's worth watching, not worrying about. As a surfer, I'd love to get a little bit more wave action. Yesterday, we had some decent waves. There's still a little bit of wave action out there today with 1 to 3 foot waves, but it's looking pretty flat over the weekend. So in your 7-day forecast, we're going to have our dangerous heat index, especially Saturday and Sunday. High temperatures around 98 degrees. Saharan dust at its worst, well, yesterday, but still moderate air quality today. We'll see improvements into the weekend. So I'm going to check on any comments or questions. Looks like we just have some thank yous. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And you're so welcome for any forecast updates. From Susan, Maria, Robert, Lopez Lala, good morning. Yeah, the dust is not good for asthma, and we'll still see some side effects there today, but there should be improvements for a pretty nice but hot weekend ahead. That's going to do it for this live update. I'm meteorologist Carly Smith, signing off at 10:08 a.m. this morning for KAAA and 3 News.